Apparently I did not. Okay, so the MMPI was standardized in 82, re-standardized. Okay, let me reproduce some lovely art so you can get a sense of what these scales look like. Like what these, so you'd have the like letters down here, blah, 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 and then like the T-score here, and boop, 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 boop. Obviously, that's the big spike. So for each value. And then you look at the big spike. I've obviously exaggerated this here. It's usually not this extreme. But so I'm going to do one in red. So here's that's, let's just pretend this is a 65 cutoff. And those uninterpretable scores where like everything is high. Yeah. But in general, like don't read too much into it if it's below that cut point. Anyway, the revision in 82 started in 82 was eventually resulted in the 89 second version. The goal was to revise the norms because they hadn't been revised since 1943, and a lot has happened since 1943, even from 43 to 82. Let's see, we had World War II, we had the atom bomb, well, the end of World War II, and the atom bomb. We had a lot of presidents. We had some, yeah, we had the civil rights movement. We had, well, let's see, the AIDS crisis is just beginning. There's a lot of history here, and that's just the United States. But yeah, so the goal was to revise the norms. The reason why I bring up like the gay aspects of this is we had that homosexuality aspect way back. I believe it's still considered a disorder in 1982. It's not now, and that's all that. In the United States, it's not now. In People's Republic of China, it is. So I'm gonna stay fabulous in my apartment. Anyway, the goal was to revise the norms. Boom. And so here are the modern psychometrics. Median split and half reliability coefficients run in the 70s. So essentially, just looking at the different reliability. Some are as high as 0.96, most are lower. 0.7, it's not awesome, but it's not awful. The median retest reliability, they did a ton of these, and so I find it easier to use medians. So a median, just to remind you, that means 50% of scores are above that level and 50% are below that level. Typically, it's about the same as the mean, but the mean is more sensitive to outliers, and so like if someone reports like the mean of a test and not the median, you may have like, and if the mean is lower, that means you have some out. If the mean is lower than the median, then you have a little bit of skew in your data, and so that if the mean is lower, that means you've got some lower scores that are kind of pulling your mean down. If you have a mean that's higher than your median, that means you've got some high scores that are pulling it up. It's the shape of the distribution, it tilts. But yeah, anyway, so the retest reliability coefficients range from 0.5 to 0.9, the median's in the 80s, which is pretty good. Factor analytic coefficients running in the high 90s, which is awesome. And in general, the reliability is considered adequate for a psychological measure. It's not as great as intelligence, but intelligence is a really nice, clean construct. It's consistent. Hello, Annie. Oh, sorry. I got three cats getting into mischief. Okay, I'm gonna. Yeah, there's Annie. There's Suki and Archie. And yes, my apartment is messy. That's their water fountain. Okay. Now you've seen all the cats. Annie's the super gray one. Archie's the white one. And Tuki is my princess. Okay. Sorry, I gotta entertain myself. Yeah, so the reliabilities are generally pretty good. Not as great as intelligence, but intelligence is a pretty well worked construct that's really, it's had a lot of heart and work go into it. And it's more stable. It's harder to improve your levels of intelligence, but you can change your personality a little more easily. It's still hard, but it's possible. Intelligence, it's really hard to make yourself like multiple standard deviations smarter without some kind of intervention, and typically that means that you are performing below your ability level. For example, people with ADHD pre-medication, the average IQ score is like 90, and then post-medication and to like treatment, it's about 100. And so the point of that is maybe 102. It doesn't the performance. The basic idea is your score pre-treatment is you not reaching closer to like your typical potential. The fact that it goes from 90 to 100 indicates that we've gotten you back to like normal baseline. You're performing as you would expect with if you hadn't had that disorder on average. Can I help you? Kisses? Okay. Yeah, I know. Life is so hard. It's full of suffering for you. Yeah, he's a piece of work. Okay, we got 3 more slides to go. So yeah, it's got pretty good psychometrics. It's an improvement over the original, and it's updated norms. And so one reason why tests have to continue to be developed is norms change. And so that is one downside. That's also why tests can be a little expensive, because it's like the individual administrations, because they have to pay for all that scale development. Okay, so tens of thousands of studies have looked at the validity of this, and it points to like diagnostic specificity for a range of problems. So like you can use these tests to like identify like substance use, alcoholism, post-traumatic stress disorder, delinquent behaviors. You can use this for a lot, and that's because it's so popular. It's likely the most widely studied personality test in the world, more so than the big 5. Part of that is the BFI 1 and 2. So BFI 1 was around 2000. BFI 2 is like 2 years ago. I saw it at a conference before it was like went live. When I was in grad school, so 2017, 2018, it was an even number because the conference was an even year conference. Anyway, so it's probably the most widely studied personality test in the world. You could maybe so because it's been around since the 40s. So we have a lot of years of data. Now, obviously, they've updated norms, but typically you can kind of move between tests and like convert scores a bit, especially if you have the individual raw questions. Can I help you? What? Okay. Yeah, so it's super popular. It's for a long time it was used in employment screenings too.